Robert McRuer, a professor of English in George Washington University, published that book called Crypt Theory in 2006. Around 14 years have passed, but the book is still very relevant. So, what is crypt theory actually? Crypt comes from the word cripple, that is, being disabled. So, how in our society the disabled people are looked at, treated, discriminated against, marginalized, all these things are dealt with in crypt theory. There is a tremendous wave going on in current times all over the world, along with eco-criticism of this creep and the queer. And the prime similarity between the creep and the queer is that both are concerned about bodies, reclaiming bodies. We also have a term called body positivity these days. This is not directly related to creep, but maybe extended to include creep. So in creep theory, we have to understand that it extends across the different kinds of identities. A disabled person maybe from high class or low class, maybe from the male gender or female gender or the third gender, maybe may belong to any linguistic or ethnic community. However, within that again, these are intersectionalities. If a straight upper class person is crippled, his sufferings or marginalization would definitely be less than compared to, for example, gay upper class person. Then again, both in comparison to kind of gay or transgender lower class person. Even in our country, we'll see so many people begging on the street because they don't have organs. They also must have belonged to some families, whether high class or low class, etc., but they have been disowned. Even in the cultural understandings of our society, there are such unfortunate beliefs that it is not good to see a crippled person when you start for start something, or even that a crippled person is necessarily crooked. All these kinds of prejudices are there. So this must be addressed. They are very much part of our society. And then we can relate this crypt theory to this COVID pandemic also, because though I myself have said, based on experts, that the COVID, is not very serious. It will seriously affect only say 5% to 10% of people. But then again, we must be careful, because these will leave some effects of some kind of internal disability. At least experts have told us the lungs, even if one is cured, the lungs may not be functional. Further, the second point is that the people who belong to the creep group, they will be more vulnerable to this COVID pandemic. So they need our support. They need much more of our support. Our means the collective societies. In everyday life, there are various ways in which crippled people are discriminated against. They are discriminated against in education, jobs. Though a 3% reservation has been introduced for persons with disability or PWD in India, which is a good thing, but there is a lot more we have to do. And then secondly, one very important aspect is that you may not know, especially the young and the innocent, the crippled people or crip people are often victim of terrible sexual abuses, and sometimes just plain physical abuses, because sadistic or cruel people just cannot tolerate them, and even there are times when they're tortured, beaten up in slightly, we can say, traditional societal setups. But then it is a regular case that they are subjected to different kinds of sexual exploitations also. And then some people again have a kind of fetish for you know sexual activities with crippled people. That is also very uh, dangerous, at least for the crippled people. Without commenting on whether it is normal or abnormal, that is what I don't want to deal with right now. So anyway, remember this, especially for your net exams and other things also. The script theory is a very important thing, and it relates to the fight for people with disabilities. In India, we have changed the term now from disabled to we have made them, differently abled or kind of Divyang as we call it. But then the pain remains. But this change is obviously to bring a positive outlook in society. But then it's still important that we become much more aware and try to accept them, even as there is movement for accepting the queer, for instance. Feminism has been going on for a long time, but this queer, the creep, these are very new. I mean, this kind of movements, at least in our Indian societies. So, uh, just try to know more about this when you can from Professor Roberts Brook on crypt theory. Details are given in the description. I can make longer videos, but then uploading again is very, very difficult due to this pandemic issue. And thank you very much.